The legit strongman Braun Strowman didn't exactly debut as the monster he's portrayed today. In fact, his debut appearance on the main roster was as a rosebud. These were the many colourful party animals to accompany former WWE superstar Adam Rose to the ring. Just before making his proper debut on Raw, his name was originally Braun Strowman, but thankfully this was quickly changed to Strowman when he made his official debut on Raw as the newest member of the Wyatt family. The legit 6'8" monster was immediately seen as a nightmarish and dominant force, as he would make a tremendous impact on his debut, destroying both Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose in the ring. From that moment on, fans knew that there was something special about him. He's one of the few big men that possess size, speed and agility, but had the look of an unstoppable monster. Somebody who Vince McMahon saw massive potential in and would no doubt take him to the top of the wrestling world. WWE had built him up so incredibly powerful, defying human strength by picking up an ambulance at one point and then topping it by tipping over a 6-ton WWE television production truck. After 2 years since debuting in the ring, he would finally suffer his first pinfall, losing to Roman Reigns at 2017's Fastlane pay-per-view. Regardless of his loss, however, fans still rallied behind him, as he received massive pops when his music hit. Strowman seemed like he was on the way to becoming the Universal Champion and the Red Brand's top superstar, as he would be considered the favourite in the Fatal 4-Way match at SummerSlam, but this was just one of the many times Strowman would be looked over. He would overcome 49 other superstars, winning the Greatest Royal Rumble, and win the Money in the Bank ladder match, overcoming 7 other opponents, but would still fall short of a successful cash-in. Even though he conveniently turned heel for the sake of Roman Reigns, Strowman would still be massively over. But it seems his squash loss to Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel is the proverbial straw that's broken the camel's back, and WWE fans have seemingly lost all faith in him ever becoming champion. Why has this happened? After building him up to be an unstoppable monster, why did WWE book him to be squashed and fail to put the championship on him? Well, we look at 5 reasons why. Number 1. Behavioural problems. It seems that Braun Strowman has been having a few problems backstage. Specifically, his behaviour has been called into question. Mike Johnson, a PW insider, mentioned, "One of the things I heard from multiple people, and we're talking 4 different people, was that there are times where Strowman is negligent when it comes to showing up on time. He has a reputation at times for leaving a little early, and sometimes makes mistakes in terms of etiquette in the backstage scene and the locker room, and is sometimes, as one person put it, his own worst enemy and his worst advocate. They will be high on him, and just when he gets to the point where you think the next step would be putting him into the centerpiece position for the company, something happens and he makes some kind of misstep backstage, and people within management kind of cool on him and they take a step back." As you might know, WWE superstars are required to stay for the duration of shows, regardless of whether they have wrestled their match or not. However, Strowman has reportedly been working injured these past few weeks, dealing with what Dave Meltzer reports as 2 fully blown out knees, and has opted not to take time off to heal up. Now, this is speculation, but this could be the reason why Strowman has been arriving late and leaving early, as higher-ups may have allowed him to do this. But if he hasn't been given this treatment, it could have annoyed higher-ups, not to mention other wrestlers who haven't been given this permission to leave early or come in late. Vince McMahon is also a stickler for timing, and it could be that Braun Strowman's laid-back timing has annoyed him. You might recall that behaviour issues backstage is what ultimately led to the shock firing of Big Cass this year. If Braun doesn't straighten up, he could be on the same path to being future endeavoured, as bad attitude backstage easily leads to backstage heat. Ill harmony amongst wrestlers is not what the WWE wants. If this has been a problem for quite some time, higher-ups may feel that Braun isn't taking things seriously enough, and thus haven't given him an opportunity with the championship. Number 2. They're concentrating their efforts on Drew McIntyre. There's a reason why the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre has been booked so strong ever since his debut on the main roster. Whilst he's had a number of losses on the Red Brand and pay-per-views, You may have noticed that he hasn't been pinned by any superstar and has only suffered defeats from countouts, DQs, or tag partners falling to the count. His strong booking indicates that WWE wants to push him as a top superstar, so much so that it's clear McIntyre will be Universal Champion in the near future. McIntyre's win over Kurt Angle this week on Raw was just the start of a massive push and a big statement that McIntyre is a top guy in WWE right now. PW Insider's Mike Johnson mentioned, "This really was one of the biggest wins they have positioned him with thus far in the company. It's very similar to the night that Brock Lesnar just wiped out Hulk Hogan and beat him. They pretty much made it clear that this guy was going to be the guy one day. That was kind of the goal here with Drew McIntyre wiping out Kurt Angle, and you know Kurt was very aggressive early on, but as the longer the match went, Drew controlled the flow of it." WrestleVotes, another insider, mentioned on Twitter, "WWE has been high on Drew McIntyre for months now. The big push is indeed starting. They have major plans for him in 2019. As each week goes on, it's become increasingly evident that McIntyre will overtake Strowman on the Red brand. McIntyre was even named captain of Raw's team over Strowman for the Survivor Series. Whilst it's not a massive deal, it hints that McIntyre is being considered over the monster among men. It's rumoured that Braun Strowman will be going one-on-one with acting general manager Constable Baron Corbin at this year's TLC pay-per-view in December, which seems like a far cry from Braun Strowman main eventing several pay-per-views. Number 3. Brock Lesnar has screwed him over. Due to Roman Reigns' battle with leukemia, he was forced to pull out of the Crown Jewel pay-per-view and drop the Universal Championship. This meant that we would be guaranteed to have a new Universal Champion walk out of the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. Regrettably, WWE made one of its worst booking decisions to date and had the Beast Incarnate defeat Strowman in less than 3 minutes, getting 0 offense in. After 5 F5s, Lesnar would pin the monster and win the belt once again. Brock Lesnar has been one of the WWE's most controversial champions to date, only wrestling and defending the belt a handful of times and hardly appears in the WWE for the rest of the year. We've learned that the only reason why WWE decided to put the belt back on Lesnar is because he's agreed to a few more dates. Lesnar has agreed to work 2 more matches, the Survivor Series being one of them, where he'll be facing AJ Styles in a champion vs champion match, and reportedly WrestleMania 35, where it's now rumoured that he could face Drew McIntyre, putting the Universal Championship on the line. It's safe to say, had Lesnar not agreed to wrestling those 2 further dates, WWE would have no choice but to put the belt on Braun Strowman. Number 4. Other wrestlers don't have faith in him as champion. Now, The Big Show has been champion multiple times in the WWE, holding the WWE Championship on 4 occasions and even having a run with the ECW Championship. Being a fellow big man, he praised Braun Strowman but felt that big men are not quite championship material. The Big Show told on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast that somebody like me or somebody like Braun doesn't make a great champion. Sure, is it fun when they win the championship? Absolutely, but Austin knows as well as I do that when you win that championship, it's not about getting yourself over, it's about getting other people up to your level. You need somebody that's a carpenter, somebody that can do it all. Bump, feed, sell, get heat, shine, come back. It's A to Z. There can't be any holes in their game if they're going to be somebody that carries that title and brings people up around him. That's why John Cena for so long held that title, because John had the ability to work and bring people up around him. People got better by stepping in the ring with him. People got better by stepping in the ring with Austin. People got better by stepping in the ring with Triple H. Those are signs of what a true champion should be. This is certainly true, but in the case of Brock Lesnar, how many superstars has he put over in the last few years? 3? And number 5. There have been many opportunities to put the championship on him. Ultimately, had they wanted Braun to be Universal Champion, they would have done it by now, but they haven't pulled the proverbial trigger for a reason. He's had so many title matches over the past year, but has come up short in all of them. And whilst he's won the Raw Tag Team Championship with an 8-year-old boy at WrestleMania, overcame 49 superstars to win the Greatest Royal Rumble, and won the Money in the Bank ladder match, WWE just won't make him champion. Has he simply not proved himself yet? In all honesty, it seems that Braun has just been a convenience to put over other superstars, becoming a dragon to slay when WWE needs him. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.